Hello everyone, welcome back to Turtles Cove Media. Whether you're here to watch, learn, or just decompress for a little bit, I'm glad you're here. And so today is going to be, we're going to be adding a game over screen. But with that, although that in itself isn't necessarily complicated, we're going to be changing a lot of the structure of the code today to hopefully make things a little bit easier, help things manage, and big thing this will help us just manage specifically resets. So we'll be doing some things new, some things I haven't done a whole lot myself, but I think overall it'll be an interesting direction to take our code and just move forward. So we'll get right into it. I have the code right here in front of us. Ooh, let me go full screen. All right. And first things first, we're just going to run it, make sure everything's working like it's supposed to be from our last lesson. And there we go. Game window and all the moving pieces, our very basic HUD on the top, and again that will be being moved at a later time into its own space in the game window. I won't be doing the whole thing, I'm just going to make sure the score and the lines work, and then we'll move on to the actual lesson. So I imagine most of y'all probably don't want to sit here watching me play this for hours on end. There we go. One day we'll get a good piece. There we go. Awesome. Looks like everything works as it's supposed to be. Alright. So not a change, but a new addition is we're going to be adding another color, and we're just going to call this an opaque back. I'm going to short it to opaque back. So for opaque background, and this is going to be for our game over screen. So the game over screen won't be a separate screen. It's going to be an overlay. And so we're just going to set it to black. But so for colors, you have RGB, red, green, blue, and then you also have your transparency. So we're going to set this to 160, so it'll be a little bit transparent, so you'll still see what the game was behind it, and eventually we'll get to a pause screen, and it'll use the same thing. So we'll have multiple uses. All right, so we're just going to scroll down a bit. So we're going to be adding two new functions. So the first one, and we're going to be changing again. This case we're changing how we do our variables. And so our first function is not related to that in of itself. We're creating a function to create a new piece. So shape random.choice. We'll call shapes. And our colors shapes dot index. So this is actually we'll double check. It's been a hot minute since I double checked the code, but this should actually be what helps fix the issue where because although we want the shapes to be random, we wanted specific colors tied to specific shapes, and this, if I remember when I originally did this, this is actually where that should be fixed going forward. But we're going to find out if I am going to look terribly stupid or not. We'll find out in a few minutes. Random.choice colors. I bet. Oh, oops, I'm dumb. Shape. There it goes. Okay, that should work correctly now. And then we're going to return a tetramino piece. 3, 0, and that's just, it's a location where it's supposed to start, and this we're just putting it towards the middle of the top of our game window. Shape and color. And there we go. Now the next part is where we're changing how we're doing our variables. So all these will, well, minus the font, but everything else will be in this function. I'm gonna call it reset status. All right. And it's going to return. So everything's going in here. Grid. So this is for Python. This is how Python does what's called a dictionary. And so this is just a easy way of keeping variables in one place. And the big thing, and I'll explain why that is here in a few minutes, is it's a very easy way of us resetting the game, going back to these original values. Now, some things like this, not everything's. Some things are just easy ways for us to do function calls. Otherwise, it'll help us reset values, get the game back going. And just an easy way of finding what it is we're looking for. There we go. Fall speed. It's going to be 500 by default. Oop. Last fall. Now, something you could do is copy and paste those in here and then change it, but I'm trying to keep it from being too confusing, trying to keep it as straight as forward. We're just going to go through all this together, because we're going to be changing out section. The core of the code is going to be the same, but we're going to have to replace a lot of stuff. But which is why we won't delete all the variables until we get everything changed over. Level 1, and then the last thing, and game over. So this is how we're going to track our states. There we go. I'm just going to add one more comma. You don't have to, but we're just going to leave that there. So all this except for font, we will be deleting, but for now it's fine. Except for running will stay. So this right here will all be going away. So one thing we're going to add though is, just so I remember, there we go, that's going to stay, is we're going to have another font type. We're going to call it large font. Pygame.font. It's going to be 56. There we go. And something we're going to do is I'm going to put running just above our actual while loop. And we're just going to delete that. There we go. Okay. And now we're going to get into the bulk of our changes. And one thing I'm going to change, and I usually don't like making too big changes, but we're going to be moving our key presses above everything else. I believe that's what I did in the, yes, okay. So, well, actually, I think it might be easier just to move this. Yes, actually. So this, I'm going to Control X. You can right, actually. Oh, so hopefully everyone can see this. So I'm going to highlight everything, all this. We're going to right click. We're going to cut. We're going to come below this bulk of code right here. I'm going to hit cancel a couple times. I'm going to hold Shift and Tab until I'm in line with the for loop. Hit Control V. Actually, if you hit right click again and hit paste, brings everything in like we want. All right. It's getting angry at me. Yep, because this all needs to, while running. Okay, that should be correct for now. That's going to change. Again, there's a lot of changes going on today. That's why I chose the, but it should hopefully make everything run smoother as we go forward. Hopefully I'm not confusing too many people. All right, enter. So first thing we're going to, actually, nope. It's actually all just gonna roll in together. Okay, there we go. First things first, I have to go through check. That's same, that's same. So event key down. There we go. This first change, we have if our state is game over. Oh, oops, I screwed up. I forgot one thing. So we're making a variable called state, and we're setting it to our reset status. And so this is how we're going to be accessing all those variables. We're creating an instance of this reset status, so while the game's running. So if the game over state ever becomes true, by default it's false, we're going to do a few things. Okay. So first we're going to be able to reset. So we're going to do event.key Pygame dot key. We're going to use the R key for our reset. Oops. And then, oh, I'm dumb. That's why I was getting mad at me. So we're going to state equals reset status. And so, oh, did I rename that? Oh, oops, I'm sorry, I'm dumb. Let's reset state. It's supposed to be reset state. And so is this. There we go. Okay. And so what that's going to do is when a game over happens, it's going to it will be looking for we're going to be using either an R key press or an escape. R will reset it, escape will just close the game out. And so state, we reissue this. So what happens is, so currently when we start a game, the state has all these default values and we can change them. And so with reset, it literally goes through and redoes this variable and sets everything back to the original, which really it's just our fall speed, our score, our level, our game over, and it'll also clear the screen of any pieces. And then the other thing, elif event.key Pygame dot k underscore escape. Special keys. Usually your letter keys are always going to be lowercase. Your special keys like this one, everything's in capitals. So running equals false, and so that will close everything else. And again, I'm sorry, I always want to use lowercase because that's what C++ and C# does. Oh, I know I remember that's C# for sure. All right, and then so that's if the state's game over. If it's any other state, we're going to be looking for these other key presses. And now what this will also allow us to do when we add other states, specifically we will have a start state and a pause state, and we can go in and put in some custom key presses as well. But for now, we just have game over and we have the actual play state, and so we only need the two sections. All right, so nothing. So our first big changes. So state. So this is how we're going to be accessing now with the change in variables. So current is going to be that piece. And so to make this fast, I'm just going to highlight everything before the period. So we're going to highlight state, the bracket, and then the current inside of it. And I'm going to hit Control C, and that's the shortcut for copy. And we're going to be going through, and we're just going to change all this the easy way, because typically I like to retype everything for y'all, but I am not doing that. That is too much, because we're also going to be changing a whole lot down further, and that would definitely push the video a lot longer, which I don't necessarily mind, but that's not I don't want to have y'all sit here watching me type the entire time. I need to change that rotate. Nope, rotate, it's fine. Awesome. So overall, it's still functionally going to be the same. This should still work. We'll find out. It may get mad at me. So that's state.current, and we also have to do it with grid. So we're just going to call state bracket single parentheses, and we have our grid. We're going to do the same thing with this one. So where you see grid, we're just going to do that, and then where's else? There we go. I think that's everything. We'll find out. The game will tell us if we missed something. All right. All right, we're going to go forward with this. If it gets angry at us, we'll find out soon enough. Okay. So now we got to change these, and I'm going to do the rest of this the easy way. Well, actually, I say that. See, Control F. I just want current. I should have done it earlier. So, yeah, no, I think. Yeah. So what I should have done is with current, just look that up and then put the other text in, but that's fine. I'm not gonna, it's gonna cause me more problems. So same thing, I'm just gonna grab this, Control C, and then anywhere I see a standalone current like this, that's just gonna become current. Yeah, the current time will remain unchanged. That will still be the same as I sit here. And again, I've done these, but sometimes they sit for a hot minute and I forget where I put everything. But otherwise, yes, no, I believe that's just going to stay. That will remain. We'll find out. That's something the program will let us know if I did wrong. And you all can laugh at me. Current state, current state. Oh, nope, not you. And then so we'll actually do it. I need to do a different change with this. Because I need to add another if not state. So what we're doing here, if game over is false, this is what we want to do. So highlight everything, tab it in. All right. And so then we have to go through and change state. Again, a lot of it's staying the same. It's just we're doing something different to try and help reset values and just actually something I might. There we go. I'm doing it a different way to try and help make things easier as we go down the line. It's definitely different, not the way I've always done things myself, but I'm thinking it should work out well once we get everything changed over. This is the hard part, but okay. And I did make sure I missed something. Oh, that's why. I did miss one. Line. Oh. Here we go. Now, part of the, unfortunately, a downside to doing it this way is we won't know, we won't have always have instant feedback if something's incorrect until we actually run it. But if I don't like it in the end, next game we do, I probably won't do this, or we'll do it. I'll find another way. But for now, there we go. And then there we go. This is, I think, the last. Oh, well, I'm not going to say that because I'm going to be wrong. There we go. And trust me, I did think about doing this off screen, but I did. Hopefully, I'm afraid it might confuse someone, so that's why I'm going through the tedious process of doing this. Because this is also just show you sometimes when you make big changes, it can be a little bit much. All right. So, and I'm sorry for using so much, and there we. But so a nice thing about our change is we have this new function, so we don't have to deal with that long piece of code. And now we got to do a game over check. If check collision state current. Oh, it is checked. It is auto detecting. Awesome. That makes it easier. Grid. It's basically checking if the pieces are outside, which can only happen up top, because it'll shift it to our game over. So currently, if the pieces will just infinitely stack on top. So this will actually give us a true game over. Okay. So now we're going to scroll down a bit. Got to continue our change, our state. All right. Just going to completely retype this. If not state again. So this is if our game over is false, we are going to draw the game. There we go. Oh. And this again. State score. State level. And then state lines total. There we go. That doesn't change. And now the actual new section of code, this is where if our state is game over. If game over. So if game over is true, oh, I need full colon. Overlay Pygame dot surface. You want it to be the same. Same height. Pygame dot sr. Oh, see. There we go. Overlay dot fill, and this is where we're going to put our opaque background. We have dot blitz overlay, and it's matching it to the existing screen. It's just going to sit on top. Title equals our large font. Dot render. Oh, game over. Set it to true. And then text. Oh, nope. That's the wrong thing. There we go. Tip equals font dot render. Press R to restart or escape to quit. That is also going to be true with our text color. And then we're also going to display our score. And this is, again, font dot render. It's going to be, F final score. So this makes it a little bit easier on us when we're trying to throw. So instead of having to convert the score to a string, we can just do this, which makes it a lot easier for us. State score. Otherwise, it is the same. It is set. We want it to be used. Well, shown and text. There we go. And now we actually have to send all this to the screen. Just take screen dot blit. Our title. And the rest of this is going to be similar. It's also going to be different because we want everything to more or less stack on top of each other. And these are, like last episode, I went through and made some numbers variables. These are going to be numbers that you're really not going to do that, just because it's so specific to what we're trying to do here. And height. So we're going to be, what we're doing the width-wise will be the same for all of them because we want to set everything to the middle width-wise, but the height's going to be just slightly different. And these are specific numbers only to this, so we would never actually set those as a variable into of themselves. So then score text. And actually, just to make this a little bit easier, because this part's the same. Oh, similar, I should say. One difference in that is this is going to be score text. There we go. Height. Divided by 2. And I believe that's still minus 20. Okay. And these are just values you got to play around with, figure out what looks good. I've already done all that work here, which is why I'm just straight typing it, but otherwise you would have to kind of work out and see what works for you. Be tip. Just go ahead and do that so I don't forget. And then height. Oh, what did I do? Divide by 2. This is going to be plus 20. All right. I believe that's everything. We will find out real quick if I miss something. Nope, we're just going to run it. We're going to send it, and we're going to figure out if everything works. Yep, there we go. So why is it upset? What did I... Shapes.index. Why is it mad? Not in list. Alright. So I'm just going to stop the video here. I'll come back once I work through all this, just so I don't have this keep running. I'll be right back. Hey everyone, I'm back. Figured out error, found a couple more errors, and so we're going to go through them together. So my first error is here, and it's simply because I used random dot choices instead of random choice. So that fixes that error. Now there's another error I should have caught, but we're going to go through that. So state here is we have last state, but we don't have, there's no last state variable. So it's actually supposed to be last fall. So we got to go through and replace anywhere I made that mistake, which I think that may have been the only one. Okay. Again, that's one of those things. The game's going to tell you real quick if you screw it up. There we go. So we had those two mistakes, and now we have a fully working game again. Just gonna... Actually, I'm just going to make myself lose because that's what I care about. I want to make sure that's working. And then we'll make sure lines and scoring is working. Also, if you notice, the colors are staying to specific pieces. The new piece function has fixed that issue we were having previously. Ooh. Alright, see? Get to find another error. Alright, let me... Oh, it's gonna... Just gonna close that. Oop. I'm gonna have to go in and deep dive and figure out why it got angry. So again, I'll be right back with you, and I'll show you what I did wrong. Back again. Figured out all the remaining issues, so we're gonna go through them together one by one. So the error I was getting is because, again, small things. Oh, I used lowercase surface instead of capital case surface. So small thing there, and I was also doing one last check of the code. Had a few leftovers. So state. Oh, again, I'm screwing up there. And then a level. There we go. And then that should be the last of it, other than getting rid of everything we don't need, which is all of this. All right. Think we're good. We're gonna do one more playthrough, do a full check to make sure everything we did is now running correctly. There we go. Now I'm just going to check to make sure the game over screen comes up real quick. First thing we're going to check. There we go. Working game over screen. And we're going to, I'm not going to check a second time, just going to restart. There we go. Restart works. Very confident quit works. And I just want to make sure the score and lines work, and we're going to call it a lesson, because this one's going to be a long one, but I want to be thorough. There we go. There we go. Not the wisest move in Tetris, but there we go. Looks like everything's working. Exit out. Alright, there we go. We've made some big changes to the code. Should help us later on keep everything on track, especially as we add a few more game states and we add some more features just to make the game funner. We're going to have, in next lessons coming up, we will be making it look better. We will be fine-tuning the look, moving all that stuff up top over to the side. We will be adding a next piece section, and we'll also be adding a save piece section. So we'll be turning this into a much more Tetris-like game as we keep on going. Again, thank you all for stopping by. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I'll catch you next time.